So this is the last day of this year. We number 2020. So we take inspiration from that. The ending of the year to end this impression that I exist in time and space. Sort of a fresh new moment, which is not in time, infinite presence. So we welcome this transparency, this presence. And let the past be past, be gone, be done. Like in every moment, this moment, the past is completely gone, all done. A fresh beginning, moment by moment. But not the beginning of anything. It's more sort of a beginning and an ending in one. Every moment being a beginning and an ending as one. No need to carry anything along with you from the past. To recognize that what you truly are is undefined. That consciousness is not defined by your feelings, your thoughts, your beliefs, your opinion, your preference. We are given this experience. Each one of us is presented with a certain set of conditions. Certain situations, particular to each mind. Can we come to a relationship with our experience that is not repeating the same old pattern of what's in it for me? What can I gain? Can we somehow explore this experience to come to an understanding about the nature of happiness? So that finally we can rest You cannot rest when you have personal concerns, when you perceive yourself as subject to conditions, feeling yourself to be trapped. You cannot find peace and happiness by waiting for the next year or hoping for the next year to be better than the past one. As long as you place conditions external to yourself, onto yourself, you will experience your happiness to be conditional upon events, upon situations. You need to realize that the happiness that you are looking for is that which you are, is within you. That it does not depend on others or on external situations or internal feelings. You are not whatever you consider yourself to be. You are not separate from anything. Beingness is the totality of being. The impression that you are a separate person, the images that you hold on to, that you believe you are just images, thoughts, sensations. Like the weather, like the currents in the ocean. They do not define consciousness. As a separate self, you are in constant battle. Either you are a victim or the victimizer. And when you're a victim, you're also a victimizer. So you experience the sense of guilt, or regrets. You don't exist in time and space. They are appearances. Time appears to you via thoughts, and space appears to you via perception. You remain transparent irrespective of what appears. You are the transparency, this aware presence that has no color, no shape, no size, no image, no fortune or misfortune. So that's where the freedom, the joy, and the liberty, and the happiness, the beauty, the love, the wisdom reside in the understanding that that which you are is formless. It's real, the reality of being. It's formless infinite, transparent, real, non-objective, neither a subtle nor a gross object. That which you are, the formlessness of awareness, is unborn, unmanifest. It does not know birth and death. The reality which perceives this moment, the reality that is this moment, is not defined by the thoughts that appear to you, the feelings that appear to you, the images that appear to you, the memories that appear to you. And from that understanding, and as that understanding, life is a flow, is an ease of being, not a struggling to overcome, to dominate, not a struggle to impose your will, not a struggle to survive, to vanquish. That entire unhappy struggle comes from the confusion about that which you are. The I in I am refers to that transparency, to that presence, to that awareness. It does not refer to the past images, memories, feelings, traumas, regrets, hopes. I does not refer to anything which appears in time and space. Like the wide open sky does not refer to the number of clouds, their shapes, their color. The wide open sky refers to itself. Similarly, awareness refers to itself, from itself to itself, as itself, knows itself to be the reality of being, the reality of knowingness. So be like the wide open sky, easy, open, not struggling with clouds, not defining yourself based on the clouds that appear to you, not imposing onto the clouds some imaginary will. Your reality is not the reality of the cloud. Your reality is the reality of being. The reality of the cloud is your reality, but you are not the reality of the cloud. Live your reality. Live according to the reality of awareness, which is freedom, the freedom of being that expresses itself in life in the world in so many sweet, happy ways. The knowingness of your true nature is available to you. It's given to you. It's not hidden from you. Nothing is lacking. For you to understand. The wide open sky is not holding on to anything. Nor is it pushing anything away. Okay, well, if you have any questions, anything that you would like to explore, please go ahead. Hello, Holger.
Hello, Magdi. For some reasons, just the thought about TV came to my mind because I spent years being by myself when I grew up without friends and basically just spending the afternoons by myself just watching TV for many, many, many years. It was amazing. To what degree does all of this create our madness or our disconnect from our core? Or do we need to get lost anyway in life in the beginning to then later find ourselves again?
I think it's when we take a look at it, it's obvious that we are not born knowing God. Although we are not separate, we are not knowingly aware of our wholeness, of our totality, of the wholeness of being. Although we do, our experience is that of intimacy, we're not knowingly aware of that intimacy, let's say. So it looks as if the way the game is played is a sort of a journey from being not knowingly the self to being knowingly the self. And in a way, our experiences in life, our experiences in relationships with our family, our friends, our teachers, and our experiences in the world, our relationship with the world, in their way, they carry the hidden message that I appear to you as some object, I appear to you as some form, I appear to you, but I am not separate from you. So I may appear to you as if I am separate from you, but the hidden message within that appearance is, to what am I appearing to? So it doesn't really matter the shape of the cloud or the size of the wave or the type of relationship we're having or the particular situation that is unfolding, which are changing in our life. they all carry within them the message of what is it that perceives? What is the reality of this appearance? What am I truly? What is the true significance of I? What is it that is aware? And it seems that that message is hidden in plain sight. Although this message is hidden in plain sight, it is not necessarily heard or perceived or understood. It seems not to be heard or understood. But then there are many ways in which we hear and we understand. Most likely, most of the ways in which we hear and understand are not known by the mind. The mind doesn't get it that it's getting it. Sometimes in the spiritual circle, we get impatient. We say, oh, I've been practicing for so many years and nothing seems to be happening. And that expression of frustration is just a wave at this particular moment, but this wave is connected to the deep ocean of understanding and knowledge. So we may not know how much we know, we may not understand how much we understand. And at some moment we say, oh, I get it. But this exclamation of I get it may just be an expression of many undetected understandings. It's not possible to live life without understanding. But there is a chapter in the book of understanding that is titled, What Part Are You Playing vis-a-vis this understanding? It's possible that in many cases we are being passive. We are waiting for Godot. We're waiting for grace. We're waiting for the peace and happiness of being to come to us. Mommy is going to pick me up. I'm crying and she's going to console me. And in this passivity, that chapter is, what is your role? What is your contribution? What is it that you're doing is full of blank pages. When we come upon the teaching and we hear the Dharma. We can no longer blame God for abandoning us. If we blame anybody, we can, for a change, blame ourselves. So there is an activity along the path, which is walking the path. You have to engage in the proper way. You have to engage from the understanding that any engagement that comes from the sense of separation is unhappy, is the wrong direction, and is really not an engagement. It is just a continuity of the old, the continuation of the same old. The sense of me, my life, and my hopes and sorrows. So yes, in a way we could say that we are seemingly unknowing of God, of truth. But this unknowingness is unbearable. And keeps calling us back to the true peace and happiness, the true north, the true north. There's always a map. In the old days, before the modern ages, sailors used to use the sky as their map for navigation. And the travelers, in the desert from Yemen to Jordan, they used to use the sun and the shadows to guide them. The direction of the wind. We have a map that guides us to the peace of being. And that map is the Dharma, the teaching.
in the Bible it says, "Ask and ye shall receive." So
yes.
and today's satsang title was something with not to impose our views on others.
Yes.
So in a way, we always have to just let everyone find their own map and be lost as long as they have to.
Yes. At the same time, we are not separate from others. And so when we find our way, given we are not separate from others, it has an impact. It's not just a personal salvation or liberation. And when we ask, there is also what are we willing to commit? Because there is nothing that you need to ask for, because it's all given to you already. But you want more, you want something else. So you have to give that up. So in the asking, you have to ask on behalf of others, not on behalf of yourself. So you could ask, may God will be done, but God will is being done. So may I recognize that God's will is the only true will. And others are an extension of yourself. They're not separate. Nobody is separate from you. So my asking is more an internal asking, not an external asking. So I ask myself, is it possible to live with the comprehension, according to the comprehension that all is well as it is, and that what appears to be my will is actually not my will. There isn't a personal will. Can I live according to that understanding that everything is God's creation, everything is an image of God? So why am I so interested in having my partner, my friend, my boss, in wanting them to be different? to talk to me differently, to be different, to consider, to change so that things appear better to me somehow. I don't know, something like that.
Because you see a certain pain in them?
Well, you know, it's God's doing. You know? You don't. I am not arguing with God's creation. So, like a volcano can explode, and all the lizards that lived in the high mountain around the volcano are killed in an instant, and some of the plant life that was just starting to grow there is incinerated. I only see suffering in others because I don't see God's touch, God's hand at work. And I see God making a mistake. So
it's just my own pain that I see. I mean, my own unresolved clarity that I see in the other one reflected.
Yes. Yes. Because with the understanding that all the waves are just made out of water, you cease to perceive a problem with this wave or that wave, or I don't know how, this one has too much foam on it, the other one is too small, and this one is too big. Everything is in its right place, you know. But this does not mean that we understand that. Sometimes we are going through some difficult experience, painful experience. And even in cases where we are not resisting, where we are surrendered, there may be a very painful situation that somehow we find ourselves in a war. You could suddenly find that there is a war around you. You are living, it just so happened that you are living in this village, which some people opposed to the government live there in the village next to you, next to your home, and suddenly you find yourself in that situation. It has nothing to do with any resistance. It's just a situation arises that's very difficult. And at the moment we may think, oh my God, why is God punishing me? Why is God doing this to me? Sometimes it may take quite a while to realize, oh wow, that experience which seemed to be so difficult, so hard, so mad, so crazy, so convoluted, it had a place in my life. It was one of the building blocks of me coming to this moment of understanding. And somehow you come to understand that if that block was not there, somehow it would have disturbed the whole field. That it needed that red hot coal that is part of the building block had its function, its purpose. I may not understand it, and I don't need to understand it. But what I understand is that there is no part of my life that you could have removed, that can be removed, or that I would wish to be removed, that would have affected me being where I am right now. So there are no accidents. There are no good things happening to me and bad things happening to me, because there isn't an actual me. There is just God's creation, God's creativity, and the light of being, which is available to be realized, to be knowingly the light of awareness. Because what other light of awareness is there outside of this awareness, this awareness? Like a ray of sun says, oh no, I am not made out, I am a separate sun ray of the sun, I'm a separate ray of the sun. No, there aren't separate rays of sun. All the ray of the sun is the sun. It's just it's the sunshine. There isn't like a sun apart from the sunshine. It's the sun is the sunshine. And here is the light of awareness shining through. No, it is. And that's, you cannot say, oh, it belongs to me. That it makes no sense to say it belongs to me. What would be the me? I mean, what's the me that to whom the light of awareness would belong? So because awareness is our reality, we can have a complete assurance that there isn't an owner of it. We have a direct knowingness of awareness because it's our reality. So it's like God didn't say, well, let me give you hurdles. Here are the hurdles. You have to open this door, then open that door, then open this door, and then you realize that you are awareness. No, God said, okay, you want to know that you are, that what you are? Take a look at awareness. Take a look at that in your experience, which doesn't come and go. Isn't it right there? Right there, this aware presence, this shining light of awareness. And if you take a look, you say, yeah, it is right there. But what about me? And then God asks you, well, okay, what is this me? Okay, tell me about this me. Say, well, okay, my mother, my father, my cousin, my brother, my uncle, my brother, when I was 12 years old, when I was 6, when I was 3, I ate this, and I had, I jaundice, and the doctor, and this, and, then yesterday, and she did this to me, and he did that, and tomorrow, I hope tomorrow they won't, and I was good, and oh God, God is very patient, so I just said, since all right, nod to me when you finish. I'm listening. I may look like I'm asleep, but I'm not. I'm listening. So I listen. And you go on, blah 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 blah. The story and this story and me and mine. What will happen if this and that and this? And at some point, you're exhausted, and you run out of rest. And then God says, "Okay, well, is this what you are? All the stuff that you just, all this." All what you regurgitated, where is it right now? Where is it right now? Are you not right now just right there? This fresh beingness, this freshness of being. And you say, yeah, I am. But Is it going to stay forever? Am I going to have it tomorrow? What about if, the Democrats or the Republicans, and what about? And so then you go to this on the spin again and again, you see. But sooner or later, you come back to the exhaustion of the story. And when you come to the exhaustion of the story, you come to this presence, to this transparent presence. And slowly you realize that you don't need to leave it. I mean, you don't need to, there are no goodies in going into your judgment of yourself, judgments of others. And there is nothing of any sweetness in leaving yourself, as a way of speaking, because you never really leave yourself. You say, well, but should it feel like this, or should it feel like that, or should it feel like this and that, or should it, yesterday it felt like this, will it feel like that tomorrow? In that moment, you are leaving the peace of being. You're going into I don't know where you're going.
Thank you.
Okay, hold on.
Perfect.
There is a question that was sent to me. So, dear Magdi, I have observed a dynamic again and again with my family and friends. Yes, family and friends, dynamics, yes. First, those who make themselves little weak and give themselves a disadvantage. And two, there are those who take advantage of others. They're always taking and giving themselves the advantage. I have a tendency to make myself little and let people take advantage of me. Maybe because I am a woman and this is more common. But I have realized that it is not a living truth to participate in such dynamics, and I would like to live beyond this. To be fair and not let people walk all over me. Actually, when I have spoken up about people walking all over me, no one supports me. They even attack me for mentioning it. So it is best for me to solve this inside. Yes, you are right. I am more shy and afraid to speak up, and I am not sure how to do this. How can I be free of this limiting pattern? Debbie. Okay. Debbie, just to, when you look around, you will find that there are various personalities. There are some that are more engaged in the world, more extrovert, more assertive. They're more warriors, warrior-like. And there are some other who are quieter, more less active in a way, at the personality level. Now, these are characteristics of the body-mind. They are not characteristics of consciousness. And there are many variations, many different tonalities to the body-minds. So wide spectrum. There are 7 billion of us. Different. Each one of us has their own particular differences. But these differences do not apply to consciousness, meaning that which you are. When you consider yourself to be a particular body-mind, to be somebody, you are identifying with the body-mind in so many ways, as well as with the personality, the way you understand it, or the way you perceive it, or the way you feel it. And so then you experiencing yourself as this powerful, very assertive, boom, defending, or you experience yourself more sort of being subject to others. The truth of the matter is that you are neither more nor less as consciousness. You are neither assertive nor subject to assertion as consciousness. And so in a way, it is not possible when you are not knowing of your true nature. It's not possible for you to be free from the impression that you are a victim or you are a victimizer, that you are being assertive or being asserted to. It is not possible as long as you haven't sort of pierced through the veil. You are perceiving your experience from within the bubble. And it makes no difference whether the bubble is of somebody who is a little weak, giving themselves a disadvantage, whether your bubble is the bubble of one who is powerful and assertive and giving themselves the advantage. They are both equal as bubbles, meaning as illusion. Now, because you are interested in how to solve this, there is both an inside and an outside aspect. In the inside aspect of solving this is the comprehension of that which you truly are. That irrespective of the personality, you are this transparency of being, the awareness. Irrespective of whether the wave is a 4-inch wave or 20 meters wave, its reality is water. The same reality. Your reality is not the wave. You are not defined by the personality and the traits of the body-mind. This understanding has an impact on your impression that you are little, weak, and subject to disadvantage. When you arrive to the understanding and you remain in the contemplation of the understanding that you are this transparency of being, you will find that the qualities of being a little, weak, or being aggressive and assertive, they don't have a branch to land on. You know, like the birds, they fly, they land on a branch. But as consciousness, as this transparency of being, there are no branches. So that bird, whether it's a little meek bird or whether it's a bald eagle with big claws and a sharp beak, they don't have a branch to land on. So this understanding within of that which you truly are will have an effect upon your belief and your feeling. It may take some time, and you have to work with it. You have to invite yourself for that understanding that you are transparent awareness, the infinite invisible. Invite that understanding to live itself through you, and invite yourself to live yourself through it, through this understanding. You have to participate with this understanding. Now, outwardly, you, in your relationships, if you say you are a little weak and you give yourself the disadvantage, you need to understand that God created you equal to the others. It's a violation for you to prefer yourself over the others. And equally, it is a violation to prefer the others over you. Prefer everybody and everything, including yourself, equally. When I say prefer, I mean you take in consideration not just the others, but also yourself. Your freedom is not your personal freedom, it's God's freedom through you. And you are not on this in this human form to trash God's freedom that has been given to you. This is not proper. You need to honor the freedom that God has given you, and equally to honor the freedom that is given to everybody. So you should be very watchful not to give yourself the disadvantage, because it is a dishonoring of God's will, God's wish, God's creation. Now, so you have to work with it. Yeah? You have to work with it. At the same time, you have to be watchful in that this belief that I give myself disadvantage may not be a trick, but in fact maybe the other way around. Maybe your own ideas about how things should be, that other people should not give themselves the disadvantage, the advantage, and that they should not give me this disadvantage, or I should not give myself the disadvantage. It could be a trick of your own mind. How would I? There is something false about the idea that you are giving yourself a disadvantage. You need to take a look at that. There may be a trick in there, because no one is forcing you to, no one is forcing anything onto you. So how could somebody be giving you disadvantage? That's an interesting question. There could be something in disguise out there, something disguising itself as a victim. I don't know. It's something to look at. And maybe off, but I don't know. It's worth taking a look there, just in case there couldn't be a little trickery. Because mind is a trickster. Poor me, being taken advantage of. Right? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. You know, the stories that we tell each other, they may be 90% or maybe 95% BS. I don't know. I have to take a look. Because there's something else besides the stories, the ideas and notions about personalities and all of that. This is more real. More real. But anyways, having said all that, don't divide the freedom into my freedom and somebody else's freedom. It's all one freedom, and it includes everybody. Everybody's invited to the party. Here we are. We are all equal participants here into the party. And whatever we think that we are better and or worse is not true. We're all equal as consciousness. We're all that same presence, that same quality of being. Anyways, any questions?
Hello.
Hello, Anna.
I have a question about like when you're making decisions, like not to think of yourself as like a separate entity. I don't know how to do that.
So when we are perceiving ourselves as a separate consciousness in relationship, we make decisions to adjust our feelings, to ameliorate, to improve our feeling state, our sense of me. We make decisions to ignore the others, to criticize the other, to deny the other, to resist, to correct. And to impose, we impose our views on others, ourselves on others, because we cannot tolerate simply being. We cannot tolerate being because we are confusing feeling with being. We're confusing the sensation, the image on the screen, and the sensations we're experiencing, we're confusing them with being. And so we cannot tolerate simply being. But being is not the feeling. Being is presence. It's not the image, it's not the movie that's playing itself on the screen. Being is the ocean. It's not the movement of the mind. It is not the thoughts. So when your actions, when your decisions have behind them pushing or pulling, a sense of pushing or pulling, you are having a relationship with your own feelings. And you are not in wholeness, rather you are in this alienated place, isolated. But you are not aware of that because you are not noticing that you are trying to fix your feelings. And so you need to become more sensitive to the resistance, the inner resistance, which always has to do with my own feelings. My own feelings define me. When I'm defining myself with my feelings, I'm in a way entrapped by them, or I am, controlled by my feelings. Whichever, doesn't matter whether we're talking about good feelings, bad feelings, positive feelings, negative feelings, they all fall under the same umbrella. So it's not about switching your feelings from bad feelings to good feelings and acting from a good feeling. It's the same umbrella. But we are talking about being present, being presence, and realizing that this presence is not personal presence, it's universal presence. In other words, my presence and your presence are the same presence. So there isn't like a point of view here that is more important than a point of view there. It's the same reality. So I listen. I'm listening. Why? Because the reality is speaking. I listen. And this reality says, I am much better than you. And I go, interesting. But I know it's not true. So I say, oh, okay. You feel strongly about it? Yes, I do. Okay. I have no issue with that. Wonderful. And then I hear that same consciousness, the same presence saying, and I want you to serve me day and night. And I go, oh, interesting. You're sure that's, yes, I do. I say, okay, that's very interesting. And then I look here and I say, yeah, no, I'm good as I am. But I'm gonna be unhappy if you don't serve me day and night. Oh, you're gonna be unhappy. Well, I feel sorry. I hope you will feel better tomorrow. Have a glass of wine. May help you. 2 glasses of wine, maybe. So we recognize the other as ourself. At the same time, we have an intelligence here. And we also can sense within ourselves what is happy and what isn't happy. So we are not going to continue in the direction of unhappiness, because unhappiness for one is unhappiness for all. And happiness for one is happiness for all. So it's the path of happiness, the path of beauty, the path of love. So you don't sacrifice yourself. You're not the lamb, the sacrificial lamb. You're not the sacrificial lamb in this. You are not. You are equal as consciousness. At the same time, of course, you're not imposing your will on others. You're not imposing your will, and at the same time, you're not sacrificing yourself.
Well, like for one, it's really disappointing that it's always has been about my feelings. That's really disappointing.
Well, Amna, your feelings are molded by, your past, by your family, by your culture, by your religion, by your incidents you had, by your school, by your teacher. It's that which is molded is not what you are. They're just ways the body mind is conditioned to respond. And in some of this molding is helpful, is good, molding. When we have children, we say, okay, listen, say thank you, be respectful to others. So it's a sort of a molding. But there is some of the molding which is not good. And that which is not good is connected to the belief that that life is about your feelings, that your feelings, define you, or that your feelings, that your business in life is to feel better. Your business in life is not to feel better. It's to realize your reality, that which you truly are. I mean, to come to the understanding of what this is, what this mystery of being, what you are, what you are as awareness, as consciousness. Otherwise, you just spend your whole life dealing with feelings, But what you are, the piece of being doesn't get. You see, the fact is, you can't spend your whole life dealing with your feelings or trying to improve your feelings, because it doesn't work. It doesn't deliver the goodies. You cannot reach happiness by managing your feelings. It will get worse. It gets only worse. It gets worse and worse and worse. Because when you are taking the wrong path in the forest gets denser and denser. When you are taking the right path, it gets lighter, broader and broader, and then you get to the clearing. You get to the more light, you see. You will find that when you are just trying to feel good, better, that you are constantly struggling with things in life, with people in life. You're struggling with situations in life. You're struggling with your body. You're struggling with your thoughts. You're struggling with your health. And it just gets worse and worse. It gets more and more complex. Your feelings are made out of thoughts and sensations, which appear and disappear. Where was the feeling that you had yesterday when you were playing with your niece and you were happy together? Or where was the feeling when you were upset with your neighbor 2 days ago? It's gone. And when a feeling arises in this moment, when you have a feeling is a sensation. You have to look at that and see it for yourself, with some sort of resistance.
A feeling is a sensation with some form of resistance?
Yes. It's a sensation with, why is he or she, I don't know, talking to me this way or whatever? Why is she or he not getting it that they're so freaking stupid and they shouldn't be stupid? So it's a sensation with a form of resistance. Let's put it another way. It's a sensation with a me thought, me and him or me and her.
And a me thought is always some form of resistance?
Or you tell me. Give me a me thought. I am, and in relation to somebody else, or just, I am beautiful. That's a me thought, right?
Right. Where's the resistance?
You tell me, where is the resistance in I am beautiful? Because I'll tell you what the resistance. Around the word beautiful, it is all resistance.
Because it's resisting all that's not beautiful?
Well, beautiful stands in the middle of what? In the middle of not beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful only exists. You know the yin and yang sign, the black and the white?
Yeah.
Imagine the whole thing is white. What would be the yin? Oh, imagine the whole thing is black. The only way the white part exists is in relation to, it's surrounded with the black.
Uh-huh.
And the only way the black exists is surrounded with the white. Beautiful, I am beautiful, is surrounded with not beautiful.
I'm disappointed. Oh my goodness.
So a feeling is a sensation with an I thought. Meaning with some sort of opposition, some sort of no, some sort of but, yes, but, which is a form of no, a little no, not a capital N and a capital O, a small, teeny, tiny no. Because a sensation without a no, it's like right now, the sensation of your feet on the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a little no around it, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a feeling, right?
Yeah.
The feeling is there is a no next to it. There's a sensation plus a no. No. He shouldn't be this way. He needs to change. And the little script is if he changes, I'll be better. I'll feel better. But I'm not going to look at the little print. I'm just going to say he should change because he's wrong and because he's hurting me and he's or she's. I'm not going to look at the little script. The little script down there is, if I will be better, I will feel better, I will be happy if she changes or if he changes. And we believe our story. We live in that bubble. We live in that bubble. We like the hamster on the wheel. Hamster on the wheel. We live in that bubble. So in terms of your decisions, when you're making decisions, and behind your decisions is your feelings, you are the hamster.
I think like I understood that, like, to connect with your intelligence and it's like what's kind for everyone and to act from that place.
Yes, but at the same time, to be kind to yourself, meaning that, okay, somebody's standing on my feet, I say, excuse me, don't, can you stand? So, but I'm your brother. Well, okay. I mean, what difference does it make? You could be my dog. It doesn't matter. You just don't stand on my feet, you know? I mean, okay, but I love you. Well, you love me, but stand over there and love me from over there. That's what I mean by you have to also, you know, you're not a sacrificial lamb. Now, the thing is, we are a sacrificial lamb, okay, because there's somebody that we have developed a relationship with where we've agreed in silence that we are going to have this relationship with them. They want us to be the sacrificial lamb, and we want to be their sacrificial lamb. So now we are in this relationship. And as long as you are clear about that, and you say, yes, I'm clear about that, I'm entering fully meaning there is no unhappiness. Okay, there's no unhappiness. And there may be difficulties, but not unhappiness. There may be challenges to the body, to the mind, but not unhappiness. And I want to engage in that, then go for it. I remember years ago, I was doing a job and it was really, really awful. I was always struggling with my partners, always struggling. And I was really unhappy. And one day, you know, a friend of mine told me, well, and why are you doing it? Why are you continuing, you know? And I thought about it. And I said, yeah, why am I doing this? And I realized, oh, I'm doing it because I'm interested in that check I'm receiving on Friday. Is it good enough check? Yeah, it was good. So from then on, something switched in my mind. It was like, oh, okay. I'm doing it because I'm interested in this check on Friday. And from then on, I stopped suffering. It was like, oh, you want to sink the ship? Okay, but will I get my check on Friday? Yes. Okay, let's sink the ship. Sink it.
I want more clarity about like feelings versus unhappiness.
Feelings are unhappiness. Feelings and unhappiness are the same in the same chapter, in the same book. There is no happiness in feeling.
So basically, there's no happiness in me, like in a me, basically, because feelings come from me,
Well,
like the me thought, believing that I'm a me.
To understand that, the me, meaning what I imagine myself to be, is imagination. So yes, feelings belong to imagination. This is why we say feelings are basically sensations, which is not imagination. Sensation is a neutral event, like the rain. You hear the rain, raining, falling down on the roof. Same thing is sensation in the body. You sense it in your belly or your neck or your face. It's a neutral event. A neutral event. It has nothing to do with unhappiness. It is just a neutral event, like this voice. You're hearing a voice. You're hearing sound. It's an event. Or it's an event, neutral event. If I go, they're both neutral events, right?
Yeah.
So a sensation is a neutral event. What your sensation of your feet on the ground, and go to the sensation of your hand on your lap or your hand on the table. They're both equal as sensations. They're both equal as sensation. And there is no happiness or unhappiness in them. They're neutral. Now, a feeling is a sensation, because we cannot deny, when we're angry, for example, you turn your attention to your body, you may feel something in your chest or your face, right?
Yeah.
Your heart. It's a sensation. But you cannot see that sensation as a sensation because you're like, why did they do this to me? I want to punch them in the face.
Yeah.
So there is a story, a me story, me and him, me and her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a feeling is a marriage of a sensation neutral and the thought, which is neutral, but with a me in it, a me and a him. So there is a belief in there. There is a belief, a hidden belief that there is something at stake. For whom? For what I imagine myself to be. And so I act to alleviate my feeling, to make my feeling better. And that's how I maintain the impression that there is something at stake. But because I made the right move and punched them in the face, there is less at stake now for me. The me is still there, but there is less at stake. But still, the impression that there is something at stake is there. But it's feeling better. It's like, oh yeah, there's something at stake, but you know what? I won. So I'm good.
So the premise, it's starting with a wrong premise, the me premise.
Absolutely.
Right?
We start from ignorance, meaning we put on those purple shades, and then everything is purple. We start with ignorance, and then we perceive ourselves as somebody, a mother, a father, a son, a daughter, an uncle, a cousin, whatever. We perceive ourselves as somebody, and we perceive others as somebody, and we perceive a world out there, and we perceive a mind is in here. We perceive that we are mortal. We experience the sense of lack and the fear of dying. Absolutely. I remember first time I went skiing, I went with my brother. He says, oh, we're going to go skiing. I said, oh, I'm skiing. Oh, God, I have bad balance. I'm not sure I can ski or anything. Oh, really, I can. He said, no, it's so easy. I said, no, I can't ski. Please don't. So he said, well, try on this little rope. And they get on a rope and it takes you up 20 feet and you slide down. He says, oh, you go up and down. I said, oh, that's good. He says, okay, well, come on, let's go. I said, no, you can do it. And he took me. It just kept on going up and up, It's like, and it was nice because you're sitting in this thing and, everything looks beautiful, but I knew that was going up. And eventually we had to get off this thing. He says, how to get off? He says, just let yourself go off. Oh, yeah. So of course, it was a disaster just getting off, but somehow I got off. And from then on, I looked down. And I knew there was a major mistake. Somebody had made a major mistake. He believed it was my brother. I didn't ski for many, many years after that. Eventually I skied again, but it took many years to recover. He had this idea that I was a skier, And I mean, okay, it's just this image came up, Of course, I didn't have this idea myself. I was terrified. I didn't want to. But imagine that I did have this idea. Oh, I'm scared. I would have been out there. Same thing. It was a disaster. It took maybe 3 hours to get down. And I don't know, what you hold on to. I mean, What do you hold on to when it's like this? You're holding on, you're digging your nails in the snow, and you slide. You slide. You're right. I was scratching the whole mountain coming down. But yes, as soon as you have you start from the wrong premise, you see. So the false premise is that you are somebody. You are defined by your past, by your school, your education, by your relationship with your parents. That's a false premise. You're starting with a false premise that you are this body-mind thing. That you imagine yourself to be, and that you feel that you are. You see? So now we are looking from a different perspective. We're looking from the perspective of awareness. Right? Perspective of awareness. Yes? So that's not the historical. That's not historical. That's not awareness is not the daughter of another awareness. Right? Right? Okay. Well, very lovely Happy New Year to you all. Holger and Holly, John, Zoe, Amna, Gloriana, Esther, and Kelly. Wishing you the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Magdi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Magdi.
you.
Happy New Year.
Magdi. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.